Hello and welcome to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. I am Gil and Larry. That is my main man, Larry Loper, coming to you live on this Wednesday. I don't even know the date. What is it? The 20th?
20th.
20th. Wow, 20th of November.
20th of November.
Thanksgiving next week, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, before we get to my hellacious picks that I did, we will acknowledge that later in the show, but we will go in order. Let's get it crack-a-lacking. Let's start with the NBA, brother. What's new with the NBA? Tell me.
Man.
Should I be believing in these Cleveland Cavaliers, or are they fool's gold?
Fool's gold. I'm not gonna say fool's gold, no. You know what I mean? Because you don't start off the year this hot, first and foremost. And they obviously just lost to Boston yesterday by three.
And that's their only loss on the year.
Only loss of the year. I just checked in on them right now. They're playing Pelicans, which is, let's just talk about disasters, okay? Let's talk about disaster. This is why, and you know what? Who brought it up? I was looking at a podcast, and actually a person brought up about being MVP, right? When you say MVP, you're talking about most valuable player. And he says it's hard for him to sign off on an MVP that's only a one-sided player. Because normally in the past, when a person won MVP, they went, two ways. There was defense. They took just as much pride in defensively as they did offensively. You feel me? The Michael Jordans, Kobe Bryant's, Tim Duncan, you name it, LeBron. These guys were two-way players. So when you say MVP, that's to me, and I agree with them, is an MVP. Because you got to take all facets of the game seriously, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, you got these guys that's been paid a lot of money, my man, for taking back-to-backs. I don't play back-to-backs. I pay a lot of money to be injured majority of the season. Zion Williams. So I'm getting paid, which I never understood that. The guy never gave you a full season. Not one full season he's been in the league, bro. And you give him an extension on potential? We know what it is, right? It's to fill the seats up, right? Guess what, Gil? How am I going to fill the seats up? The guy's not even there. I didn't come see the B League players, right? The Pelicans are 4-11 as we currently speak, right? They haven't had their full roster yet. The Sixers are worse than that. They're 2-11. Mind you. They just made this big splash in the offseason. It's a Philly thing. I don't know what's up with Philly. It's a Philly thing. It really is, right? Because it happened with the Eagles that year when they went and got the I don't even know his name, but Scooch Kawhi, whatever his name was, over there in the Raiders. He used to be the corner in the Raiders, right?
Oh, yeah.
Moscow. Yeah. I messed his name up because that's what he was to the Eagles. Trash. Okay. He was trash. Yeah. A Swaggy.
Asamoah? Was it
Asamoah? Something like that.
Asamoah.
I'm Swah. You're right. Then they had made that trade. They had got the guy from Seattle at the time, Maxwell. I think it was Maxwell. Yeah, it was Maxwell. And they were supposed to have the best. I mean, on paper, they were the best secondary in the league. Philly's going to run away with it. Man, I don't think they made the playoffs that year. That's how bad they were, right?
Vince Young deemed them the dream team.
Yeah, he did. The dream team. Why you do that? Terrible team, right? Got exposed, right? Because in Oakland, why I got throw to your side when you're that bad? They were that bad. So I got throw to your side. I could throw to the other guy, pick on him all day. Easy buckets, right? Anyway, back to the NBA. So now you got all these people, good, hard people, making season tickets holders, all these people, right? Because they wanted to see Paul George, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey, who all getting their money, right? Then they overhauled the roster, brought some good role players in, blase. As we're currently speaking, it look like going to be 2-12. They're playing Memphis right now, and they're down by 10 at halftime. Embiid is playing better. He has 15 at the half, which is better, but he's on restricted minutes. So he's only getting like 20-something minutes a game. You feel me? Which is terrible. Okay? I get it. He's rehab, come back from an injury. Whatever. Right? I'm just saying, Gilly, Back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, even when the athlete wasn't making as much money as they're making now, they took the play every game serious, man. Only time they wasn't on that court, it was a legitimate injury. You cannot tell me, even Michael Jordan was 40 plus, that he said, oh, I'm going to take a rest day because I'm old. Tim Duncan, Popovich started this dumb trend of resting players, fully healthy players, because he said, well, what's the scratch? He's old. Literally, he said that. It was in Miami. San Antonio wanted to play Miami. He said he's old, right? That part, man. Cleveland serious, Boston serious. West Coast wise, Golden State, I don't know. I think they're good. I don't know. I got to see, but I like the direction. You feel me? Steph is older, but he has a lot of young players on his team that's stepping up. They're stepping up tremendously. I didn't see them being as good. I really didn't. So they're good. Houston is coming along like I thought they were. Now, will they sustain that momentum to the end of the year? I don't know. I think the coach is a very good coach. Duco is a very good coach, right? So I think that Houston will be there. And now, as far as contenders for the chip, no, but I think they will make the playoffs this year. You got teams like Sacramento is always going to be kind of in that running. I like Lakers. I actually like the Lakers. I actually think the Lakers have a roster that could compete for a championship, honestly, if they continue to go through Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis does not defer, and you know, he's injury prone, so you already know he ain't gonna last the whole season. You know, his back, his knee, everything hurts on that guy, right? But I like the way they're going because you got guys like Dalton next. They had 37 the other night. The rookie coming out of Tennessee, 37. He has that confidence. Bronny's in G League. He'll play the bench while they're home games. It was cool, great story written up. But you know, we know, and me and you both know, right? And I don't want to keep talking. I want to let you get in, right? But it was something that dawned on me when it comes to NBA. You know, Carmelo Anthony's son just said he's going to Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Yeah. Keon Anthony's going to Syracuse, right? And I truly believe that when he make it to the NBA, because he's definitely going, right? He will get. He's going to be the kind that's going to come on. And I think will have an impact in the league. You know what I mean? I don't think you don't have to G League him because of the way that I like the way that Carmelo did it. Not saying that LeBron handed anything to Bronny. Bronny had to work for it, right? But being that Cayenne had to come out of New York, and he had to get that, like, yeah, you got organized ball exposure, but in order to get respect in New York, you had to play on that background. You know how we do. You got to go outside and play on the asphalt, man. You know, that's where you got your real bones at. When you went from court to court to court to court, and that's when you got to establish your heart, your just that. So by him having that exposure to playing outside ball and organized ball, but it's going to be like, you know, and he's creating his own legacy, which I dig it, man. I'm glad they didn't name him Carmelo, you know. But I think he's going to really be. Watch out for him. He's going to Syracuse. Watch out for him. He's going to be a name. You know, he has the game. He has the goods. He really do. And all he's going to do is get better and better and better. You know. But what do you think about the NBA, my brother? I'm sorry, I ain't going to go on the rant.
Fine. I don't think much right now. You know, it's still a little early. This is the time when teams can get out of the blocks fast, and this is also the time when they're dragging. So I think things to look for. Will Cleveland finish with the best record in the East? I don't think you and I, or mostly anybody, thinks they're the best team in the East, but they have gotten off to the best start.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think they are for real in a sense that they're going to finish probably top 4, especially considering, you know, what Philly's doing, because we assumed that they were going to be top 4. And for them to have any real chance against a team like Boston, they would need home court. So I'm going to look to see how they finish the regular season. I think they're going to be good. But for them to be a real contender, you know, you'll say any team in the top 4 is a contender, but a real contender, you know, the Knicks might finish top 4. I don't consider them a real contender.
Right.
Especially when Boston's there. Cleveland's going to need to have a home court throughout. That one extra game might be the difference. Maybe not. Ultimately, I don't think it will be. But it's nice to see, a different team, on the upper tier. Even, Cleveland's a little bit on the boring side as far as no glam. They're not the Lakers, they're not Miami, certainly not New York or anything like that. But, it's Cleveland. And it's the first time people are really talking about Cleveland since LeBron left. I know they were good last year. I know that, but they didn't start off like this. I mean, they just lost their first game the other night, and it was to Boston by 3. So, they kind of look a little bit legit. And on the other side of the pendulum, the Sixers, what a disappointment. To start the year, to find out when the year's getting ready to start that you didn't have George and Embiid, and then Embiid is like, well, I'm not playing back-to-backs, and the fans are ungrateful. What else do I have to do for this organization, for this city? How about show up and play and win? How about that? How about make it out of the second round for once? Something you've never done. Now the discussion has to be, if they lose tonight, they're going to be what, 2-12? Is that going to be their record? So there'll be 10 games under 500. The discussion is, when does the discussion start? Will they even make the playoffs? Right now we're assuming they're not going to be top 4. What if they're not top 8? What if they're not top 10? What if they don't qualify for the playing game? Oh no, they'll get it right. They got the stars. Okay. The season, that's a long season, goes quickly when you're bad. Okay. You can't win a division. You can't clinch a playoff spot in the first 6 weeks, but you can lose a championship. You can lose a playoff spot in the first 6 weeks. And we're right about there. Philly just needs to be like 1 for 1 right now. Win, loss, win, loss. But if they start racking up 3 in a row, 1 win, 3 in a row, 1 win, it ain't going to happen. They're going to dig a hole that by the time the All-Star game comes, players check out. If they check out where they don't want to start a season and don't want to play on a back-to-back, they're going to check out if they're 15 games under 500 around the All-Star game. They're going to do that because they don't care about the fan base and how passionate they are or the city that they play in. They care about themselves, right, wrong, or indifferent. They do. And I give credit to Maxey standing up for the team and telling Embiid, you need to be here. I give him credit. He's a young guy. He's a young star. He got paid, and he wants to play, and he wants to win. And I'm glad, he told, Nick Nurse, hey, coach us hard. Coach us hard, which means hold the players accountable. Yes, especially sir. The big name players. Okay, at this point, don't be afraid to piss off Embiid because he ain't playing anyway. He's only going to play half the time anyway. So why you got to walk on eggshells? Oh, and stroke him and stuff like that. No, you don't. Because the fact is, you can count on not counting on him. That's what you could count on. Whether it's finishing the regular season, going into the playoffs healthy, or him not playing at all. You can count on that. You can count on him not being, counted on. So I give Maxey a lot of credit. I really do. That's the leader. That's who they need to build around. And they still just signed Paul George, so they're stuck with these guys for a couple of years. But I don't like guys that don't have the passion. I rather have B to B plus level player, but's got the passion. I'm a fight for everything. Versus A to A plus level player that's like, do I really want to risk it? Bro,
I agree, man.
You forget where you came from, bro.
You do.
Yeah. You've been living the good life.
You have. Yep.
That's what's on your mind right now. You've made a lot of money, but you haven't won any championships. You begged for an MVP that you probably didn't deserve.
Begged.
Be real. You begged for it. You whined about it.
What I always
Couple
said.
years. So they shut you up.
Mm-hmm.
No, now shut the rest of us up. Because I want to see you out there. I want to see you out there when me and my main man, Larry Loper, go to a game and see Victor Wembanyama show up. And I want to see if Embiid has got the stones to say, I'm going to be here. I'm not going to let this guy from Europe come here and get cheered for louder than anybody on our team on our home court. I'm going to make sure that don't happen. Show me that. Show me that, because that's what I would do. And I know that's what you would do.
The future.
Okay? That dude is the future next one. So what are you going to do, Embiid? You just won an MVP 2 years ago. Okay, what are you going to do? You're going to sit that one out? You're going to sit that one out? You're going to let him show up and show out? Because I got a feeling he's going to show up.
I do too.
I got a feeling.
Once again, man. Once again, you cried for the MVP. I thought you would have had the hunger for a chip. Okay, that's cool. That's an individual award. That shows me where you're at. You know, that's an individual award. That's an individual award. MVP of the league. That's an individual award. Okay? Yeah, I'd rather have the chip. Who cares about the daggone MVP? You ain't win the chip. They ain't hosting no flag up for the MVP, bro. You know what I'm saying? I want that flag to go up there. I want to be immortalized in the hall. I want to be that guy, okay? Let me
ask you this. Embiid, the way his career has gone with the MVP and stats, and he's still not done, he is on the path to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Right? In the NBA, their Hall of Fame, they let in a lot of people. They let in so he's probably getting in. So I'm going to ask you, I think I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask you it anyway. What would you rather people say about you or you think about yourself? I had a Hall of Fame career. I was league MVP, but never won a title. Or the flip side, someone who played a long time, like a Robert Horry, who won championships with an S on 3 different teams and will not make the Hall of Fame. But when you hear the name Robert Horry, first thing you think about is winner. First thing, first.
Off top.
Winner.
So
you tell me, you want the Hall of Fame career with all the stats and accolades, or do you want the winner that got all the chips?
Unless you want to be Charles Barkley. You know
but
that.
Charles gave everything.
No, he did. No.
He gave He didn't take things.
We're not calling him a loser. I'm just saying, like, if you're in that conversation, that's the only thing you ever notice when he's on them certain programs, you know, when you're surrounded champions. You know, when Shaq they get the jibber and jab at each other, the only thing that he could say outside, because he knows, and like we all know that Charles Barkley gave it all. If it wasn't for Michael Jeffrey Jordan, he would have had one.
He would have had one.
He'd at least have one in Phoenix.
He would have had one. 1993, he would have one.
He would have had one, right? MVP. He won MVP that year.
He won MVP.
Right? So, once again, we're talking about MVPs, you know, but he'll tell you, man, I trade that MVP for a chip all day long. Because guess what? You can't say. It was like the Eagles in football. You know, I always say, when I had to argue with my cousin and them before they won their chip, you got to get a ring, baby. Man, who cares about NFC championships? You got to get the chip. You only won our division, ain't got a championship.
Wow. Can't say that anymore.
They took that from me.
Yeah.
They took that from me. And now it's, I ain't won one in 20 years. Yeah, you're right. Right? So that to answer your question, of course I'm going to take a championship any day of the week. Shoot, Iverson probably would have won a championship. You know, I name a bunch of great players that never got that chip. You know what I mean? And these great players I'm talking about, unlike Embiid, who's crying to me, what I got to give the city? What more I got to give the city? What you want? Like Gil said, you got to play. Shut up the critics. That's how you shut a critic up. You play. You know, success is how you shut up critics. That's how you shut up a critic. You criticize more you want. But you know what I mean? Because now you're a hater. Once I start winning, guess what you are? A hater. You feel me? Outside of that.
Don't you love playing?
Oh, man.
Like, don't you want to be out there with your guys?
See, once again, what you say, Gil, you lost sight of who you are. You lost sight of the hunger and that thing that led you to this beautiful thing called basketball, where you can change your family, you get platforms, you get all types of things. But start with this round ball that started from nothing, from nowhere. And you had to work up to build up to become one of the best players to make it on that team. So you're great. You're great because it's only 4-something people in their league. So that right there in itself is an accomplishment. We don't negate that. But to be a legend, to be great, you got to challenge yourself, man. Off season, man, you got to put that work in, man, because you could possibly be the best big man in the game if you stepped up to the challenge, man. That's why me and you are having this conversation about him, because it's the potential. We're not talking about a bum. He's not a bum. He just got to be committed to the craft and get out there, man, show us to dominate, man. Bring a chip to Philly, man. Bring a chip to Philly, just like Joker did to Denver.
Or fall on your shield.
There you go.
Give it everything.
There you go. We can't say
you could be like King Leonidas. At the end, he got. But look at what he did before that. Look at what he did. He gave everything. Everything. And that's what we want to see. And plus, this guy got drafted and missed his first 2 years of the league. So you want to act like what else do you have to give? You gave us nothing for 2 years. That's what Philly's saying. You got drafted 3rd overall and gave us nothing for 2 years. You have been surrounded by talent and couldn't get out of the 2nd round your entire career. You're the MVP of the league. You should be the MVP of your team and at least get out of the 2nd round.
I agree.
Now you're talking about you're not playing on back-to-backs.
I already knew it was gonna
saving yourself for what? Like you ain't gonna get injured?
I already knew it was gonna be a bad move when you said that, bro. Once you said that, that sets up the stage to be a loser. They did it with Kawhi and it didn't work. It just didn't work. And look at him. He might well retire because unfortunately the Clippers are never going to get that guy. It don't work. It worked in Toronto kind of, but Toronto had just a different team.
He was in Toronto for a year and a half. He was playing for a contract. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And once he got paid in LA, what happened? What happened? You know what I'm saying? Come on, dude. Come on. And as for Popovich, yeah, he started it, but he was resting guys that were like 35 and older.
That's the truth.
You know, Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, they were in their twilight.
Yeah, you're right.
So he was saving those guys. But these other dudes that are, under 30, just over 30, and for what? Especially after you sign a contract and they're like, oh, I'm making a business decision. Well, didn't you make a business decision when you signed a contract? Did you sign a contract saying you're only going to play 70% of the games? No back-to-backs? Come on, man.
Man, you know what? That sounds like a great segue to our next conversation. You talking about paydays. You want to talk about paydays? Do you want to talk about payday? You want to talk about a $20 million payday? Whew. You're talking about what, 74 million people, I think, tuned in to Netflix? Could have been bigger. Everybody in their mouth tuned in. What'd you say? What'd you say, Gil?
I said, I'll say it with an accent. Garbage.
Gil. I had a conversation with I love my aunt. I love you, auntie. If you're watching this, I love you. Right? And
what's her name? What's her name?
Her name is Jackie. My Jackie.
Thanks for tuning in, Jackie. Hit like, subscribe, tell a friend. Thank you, Aunt Jackie. Thank you.
Yeah. So I just had to share the comment because what did you say? You said hot what?
Garbage. It was hot garbage.
Okay. I said the same thing. I said, man, that was a joke. That was a joke.
Bad joke.
For the people that paid their good hard money to be there. I got Netflix anyway, so it's cool. I already got Netflix. But the people that actually was in the stadium, y'all paid that money for that? Okay, cool. My auntie's opinion was like, see, that's our problem. We keep pitting black man down, and we keep, pro black man, and it was never about pitting Mike Tyson down. Okay, I call it how I see it. Okay, I call it how I see it. On a marketing perspective, great. The Paul pitted together beautifully. Great marketing. They're great marketers. You gotta get the Paul brothers that. They're great marketers, man. They sold it. And to Mike Tyson's credit, the lore of Mike Tyson is still great. Okay. It's still great. Okay. They really had some people charged up believing that this was a real fight. Knowing daggone well, man, you talked about this, man. I believe you checked into our last show. We really talked about it. We said the Father Time is undefeated. Did we not say that? Mm-hmm. We said if it goes past a certain round that it's going to go to the younger fighter. Did we not say that? Mm-hmm. Well, then he was gassed after the first round.
So, he was. After the first round, he was done.
It was over. Like I said, told you off air, he got older as he walked to the stage. He literally got older as he was walking to the stage. I said, oh, man, this is not going to be good, right? And I said, why would the old man walk to the stage and not take the car? When the young man takes the car to the stage, I thought the old man should have been in the car to the stage, not the young man, right? Whatever. And I said, okay, get in the ring. Man, it was so bad, brother. I changed the channel. I ain't want to see it because I didn't want to see him get knocked out, honestly. I ain't want him to get knocked out because you too old to be taking them punches by that young man. And luckily, that young man pulled back off some of the punches and knocked you cold out because he respected you. He respected you. He respected your legacy, and he didn't want to do you bad because this is what happens when old people get in the ring with young people, okay? You ain't learned from Bernard Hopkins when he jumped in the ring with that guy, got destroyed, knocked out the ring. That was his legacy, knocked out the ring, right? Roy Jones, punished out the ring. Younger guy fought, right? Remember, prior to Mike Tyson with the retirement fight, he fought a younger fighter in his, I believe, his late 20s, early 30s might have been, right? Roy was 40 at the time, early 40s, right? Got knocked out the ring, destroyed. Why? Because we both know, man. One, stamina. I don't care how good you train. I don't care how hard you train, bro. You're training in small pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like we watched all of them. Oh, Mike Tyson was great. It was in a corner. He wasn't dancing around the ring. Like you said, they didn't show you his full training session. They showed you highlights. When he said he was doing 1,000 rolls in the crib, I said, what? You know, I'm still running. I'll wear 2 miles. What? Okay. For 58, though, great condition. 58, cool. Feel me? But rolls in the house, that's what old people do. I don't know. And then when you come to the joint with your leg wrapped already, ain't a good sign, bro. You know? And then as you're in the ring, you can see the legs is not there. You can just see it. It wasn't there. And you already know the legs is the foundation of everything in any sport fighting. You know, any sport fighting starts with the legs. You got to have a strong foundation, right? Because all punches is thrown off the leg. If you're going to get any, you're going to take something, you got to be nimble. I thought the younger fighter fought the fight he was supposed to fight, keep him on the edge. He looked like he was kind of bigger than him. He's taller than him, right?
He looks thick. I thought I even put it on Facebook. I'm like, man, Jake Paul looks thick.
He was thick.
He looks like he hulked up.
He did. He looked like he carried the well too, man. So it was like, I said, man, he looking like, and he packs power. So we kept talking about the old man, the power don't leave, but the young man ain't even stepped into his power yet. You know what I'm saying? And he's knocking jokers out. So once again, I thought it was what it was. It was a terrible boxing match. I thought the females was a great match. And that unfortunately Serrano got robbed again. She got robbed again. That's sad because she really did. You got one girl that was boxing and the other girl was just holding and
Headbutt.
So that was like she did Vander Holyfield. You feel me? She did it, Vander Holyfield. So that's my thoughts on daggone spectacle.
Yeah, it was what I thought it would be. I was hoping to be a little wrong. Like I had said before, I'm not a Mike Tyson fan, and a lot of people had a lot to say, wanting Tyson to win, because Jake's a bad guy. He's a bad guy, and I would just respond with, "So you're rooting for the convicted felon?" Got it. But yeah, Tyson after round one, he went from looking 58 to 68. That's how that was. And we tried to say it. We tried to say it. Jake Paul doesn't need to be a great boxer. All he needs to do is remember that he's 31 years younger than Mike Tyson. 31 years younger. One guy is under 30. Another guy is almost 60. Please, when you're 27, you're like, and especially if you're an athlete, you are in your physical prime, bro. Mm-hmm. And he's not a great fighter. Mm-hmm. He could say, "Oh, I held up." He had no problem knocking out everybody else, right? All of a sudden now he's got a problem knocking out Mike Tyson. No, he just didn't pull the trigger enough. He just wasn't good enough to knock him out. He was good enough to win every round. He was good enough to get a combo win to win a round. He didn't beat the shit out of Mike Tyson. Excuse my language. He didn't. He won every round. Tyson did not have the footwork. He's biting on his gloves. I don't know what that's all about. You're hearing the announcers arguing back and forth that he's hurt. No, it's a thing that he does. Who cares? And then you got Rosie Perez in there like she knows fighting. Give me a break.
Oh my God, bro.
Give me a break with that voice, bringing nothing to the table when it was very, very, very obvious that her and Roy Jones Jr. were rooting for Tyson and felt bad for Tyson each and every round. Come on, bro. Let's keep it professional. Let's be real. Let's keep it professional. Don't just be on there rooting for your guy. Okay? Don't be on there like oh, I know boxing. I know it so well. If you knew it so well, you should have known that Tyson had no chance. He had no chance. How did I know? Why was I not announcing that fight?
I gotta ask you a question. And I don't want to come off as sexist when I'm about to ask you this question. I'm just being real, okay? Why, my brother? I thought about it today. I really did, right? Why do I watch every male-related physical sports show, football, basketball, boxing, right? I'm pretty sure they got into hockey. I don't know. I ain't seeing hockey yet, but it's coming. You hear me? Why do we got female specialists on you're asking a female her opinion about a male dominant sport, and they're all I'm talking about. You got males like, hey, so what do you think, Lisa? Mm-hmm. Football. I ain't never seen no chick put no pads on or no cleats on and get on them fields and take some hits. So why am I asking her opinion? Well, she could tell me how to date a football player, not be a football player. I'm sorry, bro. I'm being honest, man. Because at this point, it's an opinion, right? You don't know the feeling of the sport of being on that field. I'm going to take it way better from a guy because I'm like, okay, I even have flack for the jokers that like the Skip Bayless, the never laced up, or the Stephen A's, but I can at least say maybe they did play football in the backyard somewhere. I don't know, but I'm more prone kind of to listen to them a little bit because I'm saying at one point they probably did play sports, just ain't paying out. And then, and they figured that the pen is mightier than the sword, Mm-hmm. But why, Gil? Why? That's like us going to a female, no lie, WNBA, or going to college basketball, female, or anything female-related, soccer, right? Football, right? And you got a male journalist on that panel, and you're asking his opinion about a woman-dominant sport. Hey, what do you think, Gil, about the females in UConn and their feeling. Come on, bro. What are we talking about? Why? I understand it. I understand affirmative action. I get it. You got to bring women on board, but they could be in the back running the cameras or something, bro. You ain't got to be on front. I'm sorry, bro. What's your opinion on that? I'm sorry. I ain't mean to go off rails. I'm just asking you. I just my personal opinion.
Well, you definitely went down a slippery slope. I was being personal about Rosie Perez because she is an actress. She's a former dancer. And they got her in there for the celebrity watch, not because she brings anything to a broadcast. Let's put her aside. You're asking in generality,
yes,
why are women, females, broadcasting or being part of a broadcast for men's sports, right?
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
So I'll do the politically correct thing to say, and then I'll do the realistic thing to say.
Okay.
The politically correct thing to say is you take out all the former athletes that interview, have a show, talk about a sport, all of them. Okay. And you start to think about the ones who were never a professional player. There's a lot of them. You got the Chris Mad Dog Russo in the Radio Hall of Fame, and he's on every Wednesday on ESPN. Not a professional athlete. Stephen A. Smith, although he's a pretty good high school player and a decent college basketball player, he's the biggest guy right now, calling sports and having those shows. Never a professional player. Mike Greenberg, never a professional player. I'm probably more of an athlete than Mike Greenberg. We could go on and on and on and on. We know this because there are guys that out of college or whatever, they'll be a columnist.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll be a beat writer. They'll follow a team. They'll write a column in a paper. Then they'll write a story in a paper. Then they get interviews in the locker room. So we understand why there are guys in the business because of their background, even though they weren't an athlete, on being a reporter and covering a game. In today's day and age, you can do that as a female. There are a lot of them that out of high school, out of college, they are traveling, following a team. Maybe it starts with a girls' team, but then it goes to a male team. They do hockey. They do NHL. They do NFL. And I never played pro ball. I played a lot of sports. I played hard, but I wasn't special in any of them. Honestly, my best sport, and you're going to laugh at this, or maybe you could see it. My best sport was bowling. And you don't need a whole lot of athleticism to play bowling. Okay. My father's best sport, and he played a lot, is golf. Okay. You don't have to be the best athlete. You got to be kind of decent, but you don't got to be great. It's not about how high you can jump or fast you can run. Okay. So I'm not an athlete. My father's not an athlete. So we're saying that women shouldn't be covering men's sports because they didn't play it at a high level. Well, I didn't play it at a high level. My father didn't play it at a high level. I'm still very interested in sports. I would love to cover something professionally. So in that sense, if I could do it, there's nothing to stop them from doing it other than to say they got girl parts and I got boy parts. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they've earned the right to cover because to say, well, you never played, so you don't know. Well, I never played. How many people are going to tell me I don't know? I've had that said to me once or twice. Like, come on, Gil, you white. You can't relate to us. Mm-hmm. Inner city ball, stuff like that. That's offensive to me. Mm-hmm. So I can only imagine a female hearing it from non-athletes. Hey, what do you know? You never played. She could be like, bro, you never played either. Not really. Not really. Now, that's the politically correct thing to say. The not so politically, I believe correct thing to say, not politically correct, but very obvious, is most, not all, most, I'm going to say 90% or above. Most of these females that you see on TV, whether they're a sideline reporter or they're on a show that's very visible, whatever, most of them are attractive. They are attractive. They appeal to a certain demographic, and that demographic is men. Okay, women like the equal rights. Women like to say, oh, she's a girl, I'm a girl, I can do that too. Cool. But they're really there for the guys. Carissa Thompson is there for the guys. Okay. Most of those women, you got the exceptions. You know, you got the Michelle DeFoyas and people like them, you know, the Shoozy Schusters and things like that have been in the business for a while. But the majority, when you see them
Like
on the
Molly girl,
sideline,
like
you
Molly,
ain't like, let
like
me change
Molly.
the channel. Yeah, Molly
Molly's
Kieran.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, Joy Taylor.
beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Most of them are pretty attractive.
Yeah.
And there's a viewing audience. And if you're going to put a female in there, I'm just going to be real. Do I want someone that's got 40 plus years of experience covering a sport or sports? Or do I want someone that's,
Eye candy.
10 years or less that's eye candy? I'm just being real. I'm just being real. I ain't fantasizing. I ain't getting bad thoughts. I'm a happily married man. But with that being said, I'm also a man, a straight man, for real,
For real.
100%. And I'm just saying that that's appealing. So you got the reason that they should have an opportunity, and you have the reason that they're employed and why they're visible. That's my answer.
And you know what? And this is why you have What's Good with Gil and Larry. You should always subscribe because once again, this is what life is all about, man. Perspectives. You know, because looking from Gil's angle, you know, it gives me better insight on, you know, why. And you know, you made some great points, you know. So for me, it helps me change my opinion a little bit and not to be so harsh on them because you're right. You know, if you got guys like Stephen A who haven't played at that professional level and they're getting professional ball player money and salaries, a female could do the same thing. And you're right. It shouldn't. You're covering the sport. You're a journalist, so it doesn't really matter what your gender is if you're covering the sport. And to their credit, they're knowledgeable because of the fact that they're following the sport. You know, so they do have a voice and they do have something to say because they've been literally following this player, following this sport, however it went for that long. So yes, they should be on those stages and giving their opinion because they're coming from a fact-based opinion because they have more information. You know, so I respect that, and I'm glad you mentioned that because it gives egotistical maniacs like myself, and what's the words for
egotistical,
male chauvinistic pigs like myself, different views, and that's why you don't run around the world ignorant. Right. Thank you, Gil.
Well, you're welcome. And to put a bow on that, a female who's been covering a sport, you know, being at games, interviewing players and being in the locker room and coaches and stuff like that, someone who's done that 10, 20 years, to me, qualifies to know more knowledge about that sport, a male sport, than a player that's been playing in the league for 3 or 4 years. You know, I'm not going to say that she will outrank a guy who's been in the league, 10, 15 years, because as a player, you have a player's perspective that no one else has unless you're a player or unless you're a coach or something like that. But I think in generality, you hear about like these sports writers, like these baseball guys, that have been covering baseball for 30, 40, 50 years, who have seen, the guys from the 70s all the way up until now versus a player that, that's been in the league for a few years. So you want your baseball knowledge. Who are you going to? You're going to the writer.
Right about that.
Right? Versus the player that's actually a player, that's a jock. Because you know who the historian is, and you don't have to play to know. You just got to observe, be not a fan, be partial, not impartial. And yeah, I mean, I would love to do something like that. I'm sure you would have loved to do it too.
All day long.
So, and whatever. And like I said, I've had people say to me, what do you know? You never really played at a high level. Or, I've had people say to me, you're white and you're not from the inner city and stuff like that. And you can go back and forth with them, which I used to do. And I would say, hey, man, you don't want, when you disagree, that's when you start to like bring me down, oh, he's not qualified. But when I say what you were thinking, just before you said it, or I'm agreeing with what you said, all of a sudden, the color of my skin or where I'm from has got nothing to do with nothing.
Right about
Let's
that.
be real. Let's be real. If I was a chick and I'm agreeing 100% with what you're saying, Larry, you're gonna be like, hey man, you don't know nothing. You didn't play. You didn't play with the boys. You weren't on the blacktop. Because I'm agreeing with you. And I'm giving reasons why. I'm not just saying, X gets the square. I agree. Let's move on. No, we're giving rationale. And a lot of those ladies, most of those ladies do. So I give them props for that. But on the other side, a lot of them are easy on the eye.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
That's part of it too.
There was another great event that happened also this weekend that we need to discuss, and you were correct and exact, man, because once again, you're knowledgeable at UFC. If y'all don't know, Gil is extremely knowledgeable when it comes to UFC. And you called it. You called it. John Jones, his dominance. He's in your opinion, man, is he up there? Is he going out one of the greatest ones to ever do it in UFC, in your opinion?
I think he's the best.
Okay.
I think he is number one. Now, as a person, there's a few negative things I could say about him.
Okay.
But I could do that with a lot of professional athletes. But we're just keeping it between the lines, in the cage. I think he's the best MMA fighter. He has one loss, and it was because he was disqualified on a rule that has recently been changed. He was beaten. I think I might have told you this already. He was fighting a deaf guy who was also a good fighter by the name of is it Matt Hamill or Mark Hamill? I can't remember. And he was killing him. First round, killing him. John Jones is on top of this guy, and he comes down what's called a 12-6 elbow, which means straight down, 12-6.
Okay.
You're not supposed to do that back then. You're supposed to come on an angle.
Okay.
He came straight down, never got a warning, got disqualified. That's his only loss. And the only thing that would have saved him is if the fighter would have said, the one that was getting beat, do you want to continue? Well, he was getting murdered. And you're telling me that he's disqualified, I get the win? No, I don't want to continue. No, I don't want to continue. I mean, hello. That was John Jones' only loss, and he was killing that guy. He was seconds away from getting a TKO in the first round. It is what it is. Since then, has won every fight. Some have been close, but he's won every fight. Hasn't lost, hasn't had a draw. Yes, he's tested positive for PED, so you have your own opinion on that. But he won every fight. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about the second fight against Daniel Cormier when he knocked out Cormier with a leg kick to the head.
Yeah, I seen that one. Yeah.
Then he got popped for the PED, and they took that victory away from him. And to Daniel Cormier's credit, he said, performance enhancer, no performance enhancer. I don't know what kind of benefit he got from that with that leg kick. I don't think that leg kick had anything to do with a performance enhancer. He just nailed me with a leg kick and knocked me out. Not a leg kick. Yeah, a leg kick.
It was a knee. It was a knee to the head.
It was a leg kick to the head. He tested for what he tested for. The rules are the rules, but I don't think that had anything to do with him knocking me out.
Right.
So I think that's pretty stand up. And Daniel Cormier can't stand John Jones.
Yeah, I know. I seen the interviews. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they couldn't.
Like if any rival.
That was the best part of them too. The press conferences and stuff.
Yeah, it was, man.
Like, this rivalry between John Jones and Daniel Cormier. It's no rivalry. They fought twice. John Jones won both times.
He said, "I want to beat you." He said, "No, I have beaten you."
Yeah, that's not right. That's like people saying, "Oh, Green Bay and the Bears. What a rivalry." They've beaten the Bears 11 straight times now. It's not a rivalry. It's not right. They just played each other the most.
Yeah.
It's not a rivalry. You got to throw in a win every now and then for it to be a rivalry. That being said, I think John Jones is the best. I've already done like my Mount Rushmore in my head, my top 5 in my head. I always got John Jones number 1. I've had him number 1 for a while. He's fought twice as a heavyweight. His first fight was for the title, won it easily against Ciryl Gane. This was his first defense. He hasn't fought in like 2 years, and he made Stipe look bad.
He did.
Stipe look old.
He did.
So, I mean, Stipe is 42 years old, and he hadn't fought in 3 years. And him coming off of, was it a win? No, coming off a loss to Francis Ngannou. So both guys had
So what fight you think? What fight would you love to see for Jones? Do you think he needs another fight that even cement his legacy even further? But who would you want to see him even fight?
I think he can lose. He's at a point where he's so high up.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can lose every fight left in his career and still be the GOAT.
Okay.
Still be the best ever. I'm not saying, knockout in the first round, knockout in the first round, knockout in the first round. That might be a little much. But if he loses by decision, like his next two fights, and even gets stopped in a later round, that whatever. Again, father time undefeated. John Jones is not a young guy in the fight game anymore. But I agree with Dana White in this sense. When people talk about combat sports and comparing and who's the toughest, who's the best fighter in sport and combat sports in generality. And I agree with Dana White in this. You put John Jones and whomever you want in their prime, whomever, the best boxer, the best martial artist, whomever, in their prime against John Jones, lock the door from the inside and see who walks out. It's going to be John Jones every time. Because John Jones has a handful of ways to win. Who you're going to put in there, if they have a handful, it's not the same level. And if it's like a boxer with like knockout power and aggression, let's just use Mike Tyson in his prime, like the late 80s. Tyson's got one way to win. John Jones has got a handful of ways to win. And when you're bringing more tools, you're going to build something better. And John Jones, he wouldn't fight Tyson's fight. If you're not trained in wrestling and in jiu-jitsu, for example, you're a fish out of water. Anybody knows how to throw a punch, throw a kick. It might not be exactly the right way, but we all know how to swing. If that's all Tyson can do, if he doesn't know how he's going to react to a leg kick, if he doesn't know how he's going to react to somebody grabbing him, putting him on his back, and he's going to get tied up to the point where it looks like John Jones. I hear thunder, by the way. John Jones grew an extra arm because he's all tied up, can't defend himself, and he's getting beat. That's what John Jones will do to you. That's what he'll do to you. His grappling is his stand-up is great. You got good kickboxing, good Muay Thai. Okay. He doesn't really have knockout power, but he's long.
He's definitely long.
He's got the long legs, the kicks, stuff like that. But against Mike Tyson, you don't even play that game. You just grab him and you give him a ride that doesn't end until you say stop. You put Tyson on his back. I'm sure Tyson's never been on his back with somebody on top of him. And there's nothing you can do. You don't know what to do. You don't. You need training to know how to defend, because your instinct is going to be when you're on your back to be, trying to punch up, generating no power at all. So now that knockout power is totally useless. You don't know how you're going to defend yourself from an arm bar, a triangle, or a ground and pound, or elbows to the head and stuff. You don't know what to do.
It's a bad recipe for destruction.
No, John Jones would walk through almost anybody. It would have to be another top level MMA fighter to give him
so honestly, he's the baddest man walking on the planet.
He is. Now, I don't like the fact that he's talking about going back down to light heavyweight to fight the champion there, Alex Pereira.
Yeah, Pereira. He won Pereira, yeah.
Versus defending his title against Tom Aspinall.
Aspinall. Yeah, Aspinall, yup.
He is the top. If you're going to take the eye test right now, he looks like the best heavyweight. He's from England. He's got great grappling, but his boxing is sensational. As far as MMA goes, I'm not going to say throw him in the ring against a professional boxer and all that. But as far as MMA goes, his boxing looks great. If you take the eye test, I think right now Tom Aspinall could beat John Jones. I don't think this is prime John Jones. I still think he's great, but give me John Jones of 8 years ago. That was prime John Jones. That dude was a killer. This dude still wins, still gets finishes, still great, but there's levels to everything. Great versus the best, there's a gap. There's a gap. We saw Michael Jordan play against a lot of great players. When Michael Jordan was on top of his game, there was a gap.
It was.
You can see it. Clyde Drexler was great. When he was on the court against Michael Jordan, there was a gap. You saw it. You saw it. So I think, and this is kind of crazy, but I think if John Jones fought Tom Aspinall, at the very least, John Jones would be the underdog. He still might win, but I think he would be the underdog. If you take the eye test, I think Aspinall looks like he's the better fighter. As far as John Jones going down to fight Alex Pereira, I think John Jones would be the favorite because I think he's the bigger guy. He'll cut weight and then he'll balloon back up in 24 hours, 36 hours, whatever, because now they make weight the morning before the fight. So they have over 24 hours, well over 24 hours to rehydrate and do all that stuff. And John Jones has got a wrestling background, so he knows how to cut weight. He knows how to do it. He knows how to cut, 30 pounds in 3 days and then get it all back in 24 hours. He knows how to do that. So he would be the bigger guy over Alex Pereira. So yeah, so it was pretty entertaining fight. If you want to compare that to the boxing, there is no comparing. The worst fight on that boxing card was that main event. The other 3 fights were actually pretty good.
They were.
But yeah, UFC, MMA, and in general, I think MMA is just kind of taken over. It is what it is. The boxing enthusiasts, they're going to try and bring down MMA. But when this is your biggest fight, this Tyson thing against a non-professional fighter, when that's what you're hanging your hat on, no, we know where one sport is. We know where another sport is. And at least this weekend, you got to see still a great fighter, still sort of in his prime. I mean, someone like me can tell you he's on the back 9, but to the novice, they're like, man, this guy's incredible. And I think he was the best. If I'm doing my top 5 MMA guys, I'm going to do John Jones. I'm going to do Hoist Gracie because he won those first couple of UFC tournaments. They were a tournament. Those first few. This is hard. Anderson Silva because he was the best fighter. He was at middleweight though, but he was the best fighter for a long time. And now here's where it gets tough because now you got to think about the evolution of it. I love George St. Pierre. I wouldn't put him 4th. Tito Ortiz, who I didn't love, he kind of made it start to become mainstream. Same thing with Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell, yeah.
This is hard. This 4th one.
Rampage.
I might have to say Connor.
O'Connor.
He's still the highest paid guy, even though he doesn't even win anymore, doesn't even fight anymore. When he does come back and fight, he makes the most money. He sells the most tickets. He's the guy that was able to transition to go from MMA to boxing. Now, you've had a couple of big-name boxing guys go to MMA, but Conor was the MMA guy to go to boxing and challenge Mayweather. That was a big deal.
It was.
That was a big deal. 2017, that was a big deal. So I think I would have to reluctantly put Conor in there. And if I did top 5, then I might do Ronda Rousey because, if it wasn't for her, would women, even be in the UFC? She was the first one that Dana White signed when he said he would never sign a female. He's not having women fights. Now the women fights are just as good, if not better than the men, the entertainment wise. So that's probably my top 5. John Jones, Hoist Gracie, Anderson Silva, Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey. Because you got the money and being able to open doors like Ronda Rousey really did. Gina Carano was before her, but she never made it to the UFC. And then when she finally lost to Chris Cyborg, she retired. Ronda was hot. They made her the champion as soon as she signed, and she was undefeated for a while. And yeah, she lost badly her last 2 fights, and she's, I think, a jerk of a person personally. But again, there's a lot of professional athletes that I think are jerks. So she's, one name in many. Um, I know it's politically incorrect for a guy to be calling a chick a jerk, but that's what she is. If you know her history, I think you'd say the same thing. So yeah, so that was this weekend. Let's get into the college, man. The
Oh
college
man.
football, man. What's up?
Um, right before, man, just just keep it brief. I'm gonna get to the big boys, right? But man, one I want to give once again the flowers, Prime. I gotta get Coach Prime's flowers. I really do, because as much as we get on this guy about some certain things with his personality, man. But one thing he has instilled in that program, and you gotta give him his credit. Like they say, he's definitely underpaid. Because what he brings to that whole. We're talking about a team that was the worst in college football, bro. Like we're talking about attendance went up. We're talking about the exposure. Hey, just as much as we talking about greatness, right? Greatness comes with diamonds. Diamonds are cut from pressure, man. That's where you get a diamond from pressure. You hear me? And in 2 years, we was getting about 3 or 4 to get the kind of get the program rolling. 2 years, switch to a different conference, which is a better conference, by the way, right? And you have and he possibly could be playing for the championship in that conference, the route they're going. His son, quite arguably, is going to be the top quarterback coming out. He said it, though. He said it. He said, my son will be the top quarterback. Sador, what I love about him, man, he loves the game. And one thing about Dion, whatever you want to say about him, the brash, the prime, whatever he did, he loved the game. He never cheated the game. He never cheated the game, and he took that same energy to these young men because he takes pride and he believes in these young men. And we gave him a lot of flack when he first came over and he said, oh, man, I brought my lovely badge and jump in the portal and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. He wasn't being politically correct. He was saying, listen, what I'm bringing and what I have been bringing since I've been doing this I've been doing this since as high as Pee-wee football. I've been doing this, okay? This has been working. Y'all don't see it because y'all just getting on the hype train. But I'm talking about the many. I remember when he was at Jackson State, and they had no water for the facility, man. It was bad. They had to go wash up in the pool. I remember that. But they don't talk about that, though, right? He went to a better situation. He built Jackson up. Hey, man, I went to a better situation. Went to Colorado. He built it in a year or two. The first year was a lot of hype. It was a lot of hype. Whatever had to happen, it came. A lot of hype. You brought a lot of stuff, right? You put a target on your back, though. When you do that type of stuff, you put a target on your back. Great. Okay? Because what he's preparing his young men to do, his football players to do, is to say, hey, man, we prime time every week. Are you able to play in this spotlight? Because when you go to the next level, this is what you're getting every week. You got to be able to find it in you to be a different player. Look at him, man. He's going to have, if it wasn't for just the way that the committee is set up, unfortunately, technically, 2 of his players should be in the Heisman Trophy race. His son and Travis Hunter will probably win the whole thing. He deserves to, because he's quite arguably the best player in football right now. He is.
I think he is.
I know he is, because especially the number of snaps he's playing, bro. Like, he's playing a lot of snaps. No, he don't come off that field. That's hard to do at that level. So he has the possibility of winning the trifecta, man. Who did that? I don't know none. I'm about to do the research, but I don't think it's been done. Heisman. Quite arguably he's going to get the Heisman. I don't see him not, the Thorpe, which is the best receiver in the game. He's a game changer, bro. You can't guard him. You throw his way, you can't guard him. He's a game changer, right? He's that guy in the stick. If you're playing the game, he's that guy. He's the star guy. He's a star guy. And then you do. And he could get the Bolitnikov, which is the best D-back, the best D-back in the game. You feel me? Crazy.
No, I think Bolitnikov is offense.
I'm sorry, you're right. Thorpe is I apologize to the viewers, man. Thank you, man. God correct me, man. I don't want to get on these programs and talk stupid. The Bolitnikov is the best receiver. You're totally correct. And the Thorpe is the best. I'm sorry, the Thorpe is the best DB in the game. Okay. Right. which I think he can get all three. Shador should be on that stage with him for the Heisman running because who's playing better football at that quarterback position than Shador? You know, granted, it's not a big, strong quarterback pool coming out this year. You know, like in the past couple of years, we were getting blessed with some great talent coming out of the quarterback position. But you know, race for number one, right? Race who's going to go number one. You know, is it going to be the best player? Depends on who falls, because we're going to have that conversation next about who goes where. But kudos to Deion, man, and what he built out there, man, because he has built a winning organization. We're talking about Colorado, 8 games. 8 games. In the last 5 years, they had a grand total of probably what, 5? They won 5 games? Because I know 1 year they went 1 and something, 2 and something.
Yeah,
5.
They won 5.
5.
Last year, 4, right?
4, yeah.
The year before, 1.
1, right. So prior to that, 5. You won 8 in year 2. In year 2, you addressed a lot of issues, which was the O-line was a big issue. You got stronger O-line. You know, the running game is not as effective as you would want it to be, right? But in college football, who running game is effective? If you think about it, you know, who has a dominant running game? Not too many that I could think of on top of my brain. I know Georgia at one point in time was run dominant. I know Alabama at one point gave you some good running backs coming out. They you know, Milroe, their running back, the quarterback. Can't think of no Penn State. I don't know. No, not really. It's nothing jumping off the board, and I'm saying, oh, I'm sorry, Boise State got a running back that's off the chain. Oh, this dude, he's going to be in the Heisman Trophy running too. He's awesome. He's averaging 150 a game on the ground. He's something special.
Well, Deion is going to be tested a lot next year. He's not going to have Shador, and he's not going to have Hunter.
You're right.
So, you know, he has 2 of, you know, arguably the top prospects going into the draft this year, which means he's got to replace those guys. And one guy is all world at quarterback, the most important position, and another guy is all universe playing, you know, offense and defense to the point where you don't know which position you're going to have him be primarily. I went into it thinking he's going to be a corner that, you know, occasionally will play wide receiver. Now I don't know. Now maybe he's going to be a wide receiver that when you're in a pinch, you use him as a corner. I don't know, because if, you know, we saw Troy Brown do it.
We did. We did.
Edelman did it. Edelman had to wait for Wes Welker to leave to become the full-time wide receiver starter.
Edelman played on defensive.
He played slot.
Yeah,
slot DB. When they had Wes Welker. Well, yes, he did. He was the punt returner. He was a backup wide receiver, but he was the starting nickelback. Wow. And late in Troy Brown's career, he was.
I remember Troy Brown. Yeah, Troy Brown, both sides. I do remember Troy Brown was a receiver, and he was on defense. You're right. I never knew Edelman was a defensive back.
And Edelman was a quarterback. He came into the league, you know, being forced to play wide receiver and a corner. But in high school and college, he was a quarterback. He was just too small. Yeah.
Man, he was an athlete.
So if he can do it, you know this guy can do it.
You're definitely right. So
I mean, athletically, his cardio is unreal. I mean, Vince Lombardi got quoted as saying a long time ago, "Fatigue will make cowards of us all." Well, I'm still waiting with this kid. He's on the field for every play.
He has a motor.
He's on every play, all on offense, all on defense, and special teams.
Yes.
When does he come off?
Never. Nice. And he's that guy.
Yes.
No, he's that guy. Like
he's that guy.
That guy.
When you're that good and you project, it's not that he's unbelievable in college and we think there's a role for him in the pros. It's no. He's unbelievable in college. We think he goes next level in the pros, like Devin Hester.
Yes. In
That's the example.
in your opinion, does he go down as the greatest college player to do it?
No, because he's not a quarterback. That's what's going to be held against him. That's what's going to be held against him. Now, they might say non-quarterback, is he the best? Then he's right there. Then he's right there.
Right.
But they always go quarterback.
Quarterback.
Always go. And in college, the second position is running back. So they're gonna think quarterback, running back. They're gonna think wide receiver, corner.
You're right.
They're not. Because look at Charles Woodson.
Yo. You're right.
For as great as his career, the Heisman,
yep.
Hall of Fame in the pros and stuff like that. When you start to think of greatest college player ever, he's not the first name to come to mind.
No.
He's great. You'll get to him. He beat out Peyton for Heisman.
Yep. But they'll go Tebow. They'll go guys like that.
Tebow. And they should go Tebow. Tebow was
Tebow was awesome. He was.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was. He was. I mean, he really was. Like, he was definitely that guy in college. He was. So Tebow definitely was Mr. College. I think it's Mr. College. I think Tebow 100%. Or
you look at what's his name from Cincinnati? What's his name? Quarterback Cincinnati.
Burrow.
You look at Burrow.
Burrow. Oh yeah, LSU.
It might have just been 1 year.
Yeah.
But if you were to say, give me one quarterback for 1 year,
Burrow.
you're gonna put above Burrow.
Cam had a good year.
Cam had a good year. He had a very good year.
Yeah.
But that championship game against Oregon, it took him a while to get going.
Yeah. Burrow was dominant.
Hit the ground running and then got on a motorcycle and went, 120 miles an hour. I mean, he just went faster. And then, championship game. I mean, that's the reason that they consider that one of the best teams of college all time. LSU all time starts with the quarterback.
I agree.
He was phenomenal.
Speaking of quarterbacks, my brother, sliding into this beautiful thing called NFL.
All right.
Big boys, right?
Right.
MVP. Right now.
Oh, I changed it. It seems like the last 3 weeks I've changed it. I
know.
Right now.
MVP, who you got coming in? Give me three. Give me your top three candidates you got right now. It was in right now. Who you guys is coming out as an MVP and who's in the running, in your opinion?
So I'll answer it like this. 2 weeks ago, I had Jared Goff.
You did.
Last week, I had Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
This week, I got my homeboy who's on the middle finger tour out of Buffalo, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Mr. Overrated. Right now, I got him number one.
Yeah.
I can change in a week.
You can change.
Because it's fluid.
Yeah.
It's fluid.
It could be Lamar this week. You're right. It could be Lamar this week.
He finally beat Kansas City, gave them their first loss of the year. And the first month of the season, it was him no matter what. Then he had a couple losses and Lamar and, other people. Even though their team is losing, Burrow is playing incredible.
He is.
He's playing incredible. But right now, I got Josh Allen right now. He's my number one. Lamar's there. Goff is going to be there because the Detroit's probably going to finish with the best record in the NFC. So I'll just answer it like that. But what I will say, this is also fluid. I had Offensive Player of the Year going to Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
But now, man, Saquon,
yeah,
he's right there. And I got a question. But I'll ask this question after you give me your MVPs right now.
Right now, I'm in agreement right now, man. The way Josh Allen's playing, especially coming out that, man, with the retool and not having, Amari's there, but, we didn't see this coming at all. You know, they broke it down. Even the whole team, even defensively, they broke it down. Like it was like I'm thinking rebuild because they got rid of a lot of players. Remember, they got rid of a lot of players in defense. They sure did. And I was like, man, Buffalo. I had Miami coming out of that division. Honestly, motherfucker, I had the Jets. I'm sorry, I had the disappointing Jets.
I had the Jets too. So.
Yeah, I did. I had because Aaron Rodgers 4 year. Oh yeah, they run the right division. They're the bottom of the division. They're trash because they're a losing organization. So yes, I got Josh Allen, right? I still got Lamar Jack up there because he's just still phenomenal. Even though he had a rough game against Pittsburgh, which it was just the team had a rough game. You got Justin Tucker missing 2 field goals. You already know it's gonna be bad when this guy is Mr. like Cracker Zach. He's going to Hall of Fame as one of the greatest kickers to do it. So when he missing 2, it was a lot of just bad. It wasn't just on Lamar. It was a lot of things that went bad that game. You know what I mean? For Pittsburgh to win, and then Pittsburgh barely beat them. But it's a rivalry against what happens, right?
Right.
And which he'll never probably get in it. But Kyler Murray's playing on his mind, man, for Arizona. He is, and they're leading their division.
Coming off a bye though.
Yeah, he's coming for bye. Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, Jared Goff, that engine they got up in Detroit, man, they're beating the brakes out of Jokers. They're embarrassing Jokers. They're beating them so bad, man. It's like, look, that coach might get fired. He should get fired this year, but it's bad. It's so bad that it was a college game. They beat them like it was college. Every drive was a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Whenever you heard that, Gil?
That's a well-oiled machine they got.
Man, it's a dangerous machine.
They got the line. They got the running
backs,
they got receivers. They got
defense.
The defense is pretty good. Yeah,
good coach
and
staff,
offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator. I remember Aaron Glenn when he was a player.
Yeah, then Dan Campbell definitely resurrected a dying franchise. He put his stamp on it. They're so good that we don't even care about how bad they were. We don't care about it. We don't care about them being 0-16 that 1 year. We don't care. You know why? Because it's the past. And the only thing you can do from the past is what, Gil? Move on and learn from it. That's it. And that's what they did. Move on.
The past has got nothing to do with this team.
Nothing.
He overturned the roster. They don't know about the losing. They don't know about the 0-16. They don't know about it. All they know about is winning and blowing a playoff game in the second half.
That's it.
That's what they know. So let's get back there, and next time let's kick the football.
Yes, sir.
Instead of going for it on 4th down twice in the second half. To me, that's easy. That's easy. You know what you did wrong. Don't do that again. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Because we just brought up Saquon. I just thought of this yesterday. So the Giants, are benching Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Right? But they're not playing the backup, Drew Lock, who they signed for $5 million. They're playing Joey Cutlets.
Right? Yeah, Pisano.
Okay. I just got a question. If you're going to pay the backup quarterback $5 million not to play him, why didn't you just give that money to Saquon and kept him?
Man, that's a great question. They really believe that Saquon was on his no more football. They don't know if they had an analytic guy come in and look at their numbers and say he's declining. Forget everything he gave this franchise. Forget all the seats in the field in the stadium, all the dramatic, great plays these guys have made, right? I think he was undervalued, underappreciated. They used some crappy excuse why they couldn't pay him, and this is what you get. This is exactly what you get, right? Mm-hmm. I knew when the Eagles picked them up that it was going to be dangerous business for our division. I'm a Cowboys fan, and they got better. They got that guy with an old line. He never had an old line probably since college. You feel me? Mm-hmm. If he had one there, you know what I mean? You put a dynamic player behind an old line, and you got a great bunch of players there too. You got a good quarterback. You got receivers, so I don't have to do everything. I could play stress-free, pressure-free, just play my game, do my part. I just knew it was gonna be a good. I knew it, bro. I knew it. I just said, "Oh man, this Eagles and landed the gem, a gem." And the Giants, that's why you are what you are. This is why your franchise is what it is. A losing franchise. Because you don't give away good players for nothing. And like you said, you could have gave them that money because you gave it to a guy you ain't even want to play. You're a lottery pick. That's what you play for, a lottery pick. Daniel Jones is a bust. He was been a bust, So y'all gambled on the bus. It didn't work out, right? Jets shot the dice with Aaron Rodgers. It's not working out. It won't work out.
They fired their head coach
and the GM. And the GM got fired.
Yep.
You see what Aaron Rodgers brings to you? He brings you this. Crap.
Down.
The floor, look at his chops, because he knew what he had in the gas tank. Get rid of the old man. Let the young boy shine. You feel me? Jordan Love, man, we cool. Throw your little interceptions, but guess what? You got a bright future, young man, and you got the kind of quarterback that you're my guy. You know what I'm saying? And it's just dumb. It's a dumb franchise, bro. It's just dumb. It's from top to bottom. They hold nobody accountable. I don't think Dayball's a bad coach. I think that was out of his hands. It was a money thing. It wasn't. I don't think the coach ain't got to do with that part. That's GM. That's the owner.
He could have fought for him though.
That part. And once again, you think he's gonna be the coach at the end of the year?
I think him and the GM got the vote of confidence from Mara, their owner. So I think they got another year in them where they're going to keep those guys because I think they're attached to the hip, and I think you're not going to let go of one without letting go of the other. So I think they're going to give them one more year. And I agree. I like Dayball. I wouldn't mind him as my head coach. But the thing with Saquon was he was the best player on your team, which was a bad team. He was the offense. You let him go for a couple of million extra dollars, and you let him go within division to a team that's got a bunch of players, and now he's the best player on a team that's got a bunch of players. He's the guy. He's getting offensive player of the week every other week. He's gotten it 3 times already this year. He had his best game of the year against you in MetLife. I mean, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
It is.
Guy should have just stopped him and forget about the score. Instead, he just made you look like a. Okay, he did. Sorry, there's no other word.
How the young boys do?
You know what? You're too
little. Bored you.
You're too little.
You're too little.
You're too little. Stop me. You're too little. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was just curious about that. Just curious. But bad organizations,
terrible organizations.
They'll make decisions like that, and they'll let things like that happen. Him leaving was really bad. Him going to Philadelphia, I mean, that is so bad. It's funny. It's really, really funny. But
hey man, your boys put on a nice little show to lose, but y'all put on. We was both wrong. We picked Green Bay as one of our picks, and we terribly was wrong because your boys actually came and played. The new offensive coordinator actually had Caleb look comfortable. He looked real comfortable. He looked like controlled offense. It was fluid. He was getting rid of the ball. He made plays with his legs. He looked like the guy that y'all drafted to come in. But unfortunately, your head coach is your head coach, and he makes dumb decisions. So for every positive y'all got, you just got a dumb head coach that just doesn't play to win. He just doesn't. It's weird. It's weird.
It's not that weird. It's actually pretty common.
Yeah.
Remember what I've said, and I said this last year. The difference between a good coach and any other coach is time management, game situation. So what does my coach do? As soon as our kicker is in field goal range, he plays for the field goal and lets time expire to set it up for a 46-yard field goal where the stats show that his kicker is unbelievable kicking under 40 yards. Unbelievable. When he's got to kick 40 or more, he goes from a high kick to a driving kick all game long. And the head coach admitted this when the game was over, that they were bringing pressure, getting pressure on the left side of the line, okay, during the kicks earlier in the game. Extra points, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So pressure's coming there. You got time. Tom Brady, Kevin Burkhardt, they're saying he's got time for another play, sideline play, or if it's in the middle, call a timeout when it's in the middle. Mm-hmm. You got time. What does that dopey dope do? Nothing. He just lets the clock run down and sets it up for a 46-yarder and then is surprised after the fact that it gets blocked and the fence's decision. Well, anything can happen. The handoff could have been a fumble. There could have been a interception.
But you take your chances.
Bro. You had to make plays to get into that position. You had to make one more play. You settled for a 46-yard field goal, and the result is the result. If you would have made one more play, I'm talking a 7-yard pass, you're telling me how Caleb was driving down there? You didn't have time? You didn't think you could do 7 yards? The number one corner was on the sideline, not even dressed up anymore. You know what I'm saying? You didn't believe in your guy to get you 7 more yards? If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But you had the time to run another play. Easily another play. And that's what you did? That's what you came up with? We're going to run it down to 3 seconds and kick a 46-yarder? Let me tell you something. I actually had no emotion when this game was over. Because I had it in my mind when they were only up by 5 that Green Bay was going to come down, score a touchdown, there'd be less than a minute, and Caleb wouldn't have time to get down there. So where I was wrong was it only took Green Bay like a minute and a half to score that touchdown. They got down there quick, which gave Caleb time, which I was surprised about. But I thought they were going to lose. I thought they were going to lose it at the end. And then when I'm hearing Tom Brady saying, "What are they doing? What are they doing?" Kevin Burkhardt, what are they doing? Oh, I guess they're going to just settle for this field goal. I'm like, here's where something bad will probably happen. Did I think it'd be blocked? No. I thought he was going to miss it. I thought he was just going to flat out miss it. Because he's a very accurate kicker, but I know my kicker on the deep ones, he has to drive it, and he goes from being great to ordinary. And he got blocked. Oh, the kick was low. And then after the fact, they show all the replays of the guy launching who blocked it. You know what? The league is probably going to get back to Eberflus and say, you were right. We missed that one. And Eberflus in his mind is going to say, I made the right decision. They just missed it. No, you dope. You made the wrong decision, and this is what happened. This happened because the field goal was long, and he had to kick it low, and a penalty that should have been called got missed versus a penalty that should have been called wouldn't have mattered because he would have kicked it up. I don't want to get emotional. I don't want to do that.
So
I don't want to relive it.
So what tiers you got this week for these teams? And we done got the week 12 now. So what's your tiers looking like, man?
Well, one more thing to add. Your team sucks too.
Yeah, we're terrible. I don't even want to elaborate on my team. Look, we so low.
Your team sucks.
So bad. Look, I don't even want to look. I ain't got nothing to say about my team, man. Listen, we're a lottery pick, so it's cool. They talk about.
I might be a lottery pick too. I only got 4 wins.
They talk about tanking.
4 weeks.
They said the suggestion is tank, which we're doing a great job anyway. We don't got to tank, which is bad, right? Go get Dion if he's willing to come to Big D, which I wouldn't, but whatever. They draft Shador, figure it's something to do with this dumb contract they gave Dak, and let's just go from there. That's been the greatest suggestions ever. Dion leave his situation. and it keeps overemphasizing like, look at my view.
We've got another month to really play these scenarios out.
Yes, sir.
We've got, we're on the back half of the season now, and in 4 weeks we can really start putting these things together.
Yeah.
We really can. Okay, tiers. Tier 1. I have a new number 1.
Okay.
I got the Detroit Lions. Number one. Like the Highlander, there can only be one. That's my A. My B, I'm going to do Kansas City. I'm not going to drop them too much because they lost the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And C, I think you mentioned them last year, and I'm putting them up there. Not last year, last week. And I'm putting them up there now. My third team is Philadelphia. Philadelphia Eagles are my 3. So I got Detroit, Kansas City, Philly, my top 3 teams right now in week 12, going into week 12. I think that's where we're at. So those are my 3. Who are your top 3 teams, ABC?
I got the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Bills.
Okay.
And I actually got Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
I got Pittsburgh up there, man. Impressive. They've been impressive, man. They've been impressive. Well, they've been impressive, man. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either.
I didn't see it coming.
And I thought they made the wrong decision.
I did too.
Russell, and it looks like it's the right decision.
The right decision. I mean, he's not coughing the ball tremendously at one turnover last week, but for the most part, been very good with the ball. They moved the chains. Pickens is looking explosive.
Way better.
Plays way better, right? Defense playing great. And he just looked poised in the pocket. He looked like he's getting more comfortable, getting better. And he's not doing too much, but doing enough. And they're winning. They're top of their division. Never saw that coming. Fills all the columns in my column.
Those are great picks. My second tier, it's going to sound very familiar. I got Pittsburgh, A, and they were right there. I almost had them in the top tier. They were very close. I got Pittsburgh, my A team. I got Buffalo, my B team, and I got Baltimore, my C team. I still think they're really good, and they're gonna. I don't know that they're gonna win that division now. I don't know that. I had them pegged to win it. Now I'm not so sure. Who's your tier 2 ABC?
My tier 2 ABC, man, I got the Eagles. I got Kansas City.
Okay.
I got the Chiefs. I still think they're dominant, even with the 1. And believe it or not, I got the Chargers. The Chargers slid in there. Harbaugh is man. Once again, these teams I didn't see being this good, bro. I could even see the Cardinals in there at one point, but I just believe that the Chargers are doing it. Where I'm telling you why I justify my beat real quick with the Chargers. One, they got rid of their receivers. I know they were old, but I didn't see this happening. I'm like, they don't have no receivers. Yeah, they drafted old offensive linemen. And we know that Harbaugh wants to run the ball.
And they got rid of Eckler.
And yeah, right. So it's like, man, I didn't see that system being that fast, being implemented that fast, and them being this good. And you know what you're getting with them. And they have a good defense. Yeah, they let the brakes off, but then once again, you just named it. Joe Burrow's red hot. So it's a red hot quarterback coming in exposing you. It wasn't like the average quarterback can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So you still have a good defense. You have a great defense. You run the ball. You set yourself up in the trenches, and Herbert is playing at an outstanding level right now, man. And the receivers are stepping up. Like he has receivers. Great pro, and they got the confidence of the coach. Their feet, the coach brings this. He's just a winner everywhere he goes. So yes, they deserve it. Definitely up there. Baltimore, yes, could be in there. Baltimore definitely could be there because they still are a great team. But I got the Chargers.
Good one. Yeah, still bothers me that the Bears had 2 cracks at Jim Harbaugh. But you know what they say? A's hire A's, B's, higher B's and C's.
Yeah.
So, and my level, my third tier, again, this isn't the worst teams as they are the most disappointing because I had anticipated more. San Francisco. They have been consistently inconsistent. They have talent. They should not have lost to Seattle last week. Atlanta, this division they should be running away from. You can't be win, lose, win, lose. They shouldn't be doing that. And I'm going to throw this team in there because just when it looks like they're going to start to get going and their quarterback is playing great, they're still not winning like they should be. And I'm going to say the Cincinnati Bengals. We all year we're like, all right, now here's when Cincinnati starts to get going. They start to get going and then they lose. They start to get going, then they lose. And you're running out of real estate at this point. So I got San Francisco, Atlanta, Cincinnati. There are teams worse than this, but I'm at a point where I can't keep throwing in the Jets. The Jets are just bad. I can't keep throwing in Dallas. Dallas is just bad. The Bears are just bad right now. Until they win, they're bad. You only got 4 wins, you're bad. You only got 3 wins, you're bad. You're bad. So I'm not gonna be like, expectations are so high. Listen, they are what they are at this point. We're through over halfway of the year, and you've got 3-4 wins. You're bad. You're bad. These other teams, San Francisco, Atlanta, they can still win their division. Cincinnati can still make a playoff. They can still make the playoffs. Still, they're not mathematically out of it, but they're disappointing to this point. So that's my 3: San Francisco, Atlanta, Cincinnati. What are your 3 disappointing?
My 3 is San Francisco. I'm totally agree with San Francisco. I have my Cowboys in there because it was what it is. You feel me?
They're bad.
Like you said, they're bad. So technically, they shouldn't be in this daggone list because they're just bad. We have to come to that grip. They're bad. I had the Bengals in there for sure. I got the Bengals in there for sure because, like you said, they're defensively they're just not. They don't have a good defense, and that's the problem. I mean, they have to outscore you, and unfortunately, the defense is not good enough to stop you. So. Yes, Joe Burrow is putting outstanding numbers up. He's playing great. Chase is playing great. The offense is not the problem. That's not the issue. The issue is the fact that you can't stop nobody. You don't bring no pressure. You can't. That was what got them over in the past, is that the defense was complementary to the offense. Now it's just the offense, no defense. It's very frustrating because we had them. We know that they start slow. They normally pick it up, catch speed. And boom, they're in the playoffs. They're challenging KFC. They're going to KC, beating KC. Boom. This year, nah, it's not happening, bro. You need to retool. You let some key players go. The defense, man, listen, I'm just saying, you're right. So, and the Jets, we don't need to talk about that because at the end of the day, that's what you get. We ain't gonna sugarcoat it no more. It is what it is, man. You're a terrible coach team. You're a terrible team, and you deserve to lose every week, in my opinion. You had the coach, and guess what? Anthony Richardson came down there and beat you. Anthony Richardson beat you. I watched the game. He beat you. That's why I took the Colts, by the way, because I just don't trust the coaching of the Jets. You know what I mean? There's a thing called bad coaching. Guess what? You know about it. I know about it. The Jets know about it. And until Atlanta, you're falling in that damn trap. And the Saints definitely was there until they made their switch. Smart move for the Saints, because they're looking like a whole different team. Beat the brakes out of Cleveland, coming off a bye. That's embarrassing. And I have the Saints too.
There's going to be a lot of coaching changes next year. A lot, because I think there's a bunch that are going to get fired at year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I think it's going to be your coach and my coach.
Yes, sir.
That list.
Yes, sir. And
for sure.
My team to go and get Ben up in there. Johnson, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And man, if y'all got Ben Johnson, man, woo. If I was him, I'd go to Chicago. Got a better roster, in my opinion. Got a better roster.
I'm thinking maybe they steal Kingsbury out of Washington and make him the head coach. Pair him up with Caleb, since he played Caleb last year.
Who gets the Jacksonville job?
Belichick.
You think so?
I think so. I don't think he goes to Dallas because him and Jerry.
Now,
they'll
compete. Get to these picks, these outstanding picks, right? My question to you: I got a two-part question.
Mm-hmm.
One, who you think is going to get the number one pick? Who's going to have the worst record coming out this year?
Oh, the race to number one?
Yes.
I have the same three teams, but I switched A and B. So right now I got the Giants.
Okay.
Getting the number one pick. I got the Raiders right behind them, and I got your Cowboys right.
Okay. Second part. The Giants, if this finishes the way it finishes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Giants, do they go get Shador? Or do they get Travis Hunter?
They get Shador because they need a quarterback.
Raiders, you in need of a quarterback.
Yes, they are.
You get the best on the board. You go get Travis Hunter, or do you go to get a quarterback?
Look, it seems like we say this every year. You and I definitely said this last year. As the offseason goes, and as the more over-evaluation process goes, and as we get closer to the draft, the quarterbacks get pushed up. It happens every year. Guys that were not even supposed to be first rounders are now making in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And guys that were supposed to be in the middle to late round are top 5. Last year, 6 of the first 12 picks were quarterbacks.
Right.
6 of them. We know for a fact, history-wise, that less than half of those 6 will be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Less than half. So we're talking about 2 out of the 6 are going to make it. It looks like the Washington one is going to be one of them. Now, I worry about him health-wise because he's thin and he's already been banged around.
Denver.
So who's the other one?
Bo Nix came out.
Bo Nix, and he's looking pretty good.
Looking good.
J.J. McCarthy already got hurt. We don't know.
Penix hasn't played yet.
So we don't know.
We don't know.
Are we going to just assume Caleb? We're just going to assume it.
Yeah, we'll assume. It
depends on the coaching. Signs, but
it depends on the coaching. Depends on the coaching for Caleb.
It so depends on the coaching.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So
it's definitely coaching. Right coach, y'all got a winner. Wrong coach, I don't see it happening.
I think quarterback goes number 1 right now today, November 20th. I think it's Shador.
Does
the
Beck
Giants or the
go?
Raiders, Giants or Raiders, whoever number 1 there.
Does Beck go to the Raiders?
I don't think Hunter goes number 2.
I think he goes 3. I think
I'm not sure who 3 is, but I don't think 2 because I think number 2 will either go to the best defensive lineman, probably, or the best offensive lineman, probably a tackle. Because those, if you look at pecking order of most valued position in football,
you need to
quarterback.
You definitely do.
Offensive tackle.
You definitely do.
Or pass rusher.
Those
are the 3.
That's a fact.
It's not wide receiver, and it's not corner.
It's not deep back.
Corner might be number 2 on defense.
I agree.
Might be. So you get a corner that can play wide receiver, or is the team that drafts him going to want to play him wide receiver more than corner? That depends on the team. That depends.
Yeah, you agree.
So I think number 1 will be quarterback. I'm thinking Shador right now. 2 will be the top either pass rusher or tackle. I'm not sure about 3. I think Travis Hunter comes into play at 3. If I knew what the team was, I'd feel better about making this pick. So I don't think Travis Hunter goes any higher than 3 right now.
I got you.
Right now. And I don't even know what his primary. He cannot play every single down.
No.
We know that.
No.
So is he going to be a full-time corner, part-time wide receiver, or flip it? Full-time wide receiver, part-time corner. I think as far as value goes, you make him a full-time corner.
Indeed.
I think that's what you do. Plus,
what
team is he going to play for and who's going to be the coach?
Because
it's Belichick, he's going to be a corner.
He'll be a corner. And he'll use him sparingly as a receiver because he did it. He's used to doing it.
He's done it with guys that are less talented than him.
In Jacksonville, I mean, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is as bad as they make him out to be. I think once again, it's coaching. We've seen promise of him. I just think that unfortunately that contract and said it. It's one of the things where the contract is like Russell Wilson winning over the Broncos. The contract preceded him. So being that you were getting paid all this money, now it's like you don't have the room for the interceptions. You don't have the room for error. You know what I mean? So I think that because they're saying, oh, and they've been on this top. He gave Trevor Lawrence $40 million. He ain't a bad quarterback. They was 8-3 with the quarterback. Then he just imploded. Yeah. They imploded. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like he wasn't good because he looked good. It just, I don't know, something happened.
I just want to point out of my 3 for the race to number 1, Carolina is not in there anymore, and Jacksonville isn't in there anymore.
You think Jacksonville win another game?
I got to look at their schedule, but the thing is, Trevor Lawrence is coming back.
Okay.
He's not out for the year. Dallas's quarterback is out for the year.
Yeah.
Raiders have a bad quarterback situation. Giants have a bad quarterback situation. I think Trevor Lawrence coming back, it's going to get them 1 or 2 more wins before the year is out. So they finish with, what do they have now? 1 or 2?
They got 3.
They've won 3 games, Jacksonville?
I believe. Or is it 2?
I thought it was 2. Well, anyway, I think they're going to win 4.
4. Yeah, and then like I said, Carolina was out there raised because they're showing promise now. So
yeah, there's a little bit of hope now. What are you, real quick? What are your 3 ABC race to number 1?
Oh man, I definitely got us 3.
I did Giants, Raiders, Dallas, and you also got Carolina.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to fall.
Got Jacksonville.
You got Tennessee. Tennessee
is there.
Yeah, Tennessee definitely there. So Tennessee can fall in there because I don't see them win no games. Man. So for me, I got the Giants. I don't think the Raiders are going to be the steal one. So I got the Raiders too. And we suck. But we might be to beat the Giants. So I give us 4. I might slide. Tennessee is the 3rd one, man.
So you got Giants, Raiders, Tennessee?
Tennessee. And then Cowboys.
Okay. All right. There's still some bad teams in there. Miami's not any good either. We've seen.
Hold up. They've been winning. They've been winning.
They're not good.
They've been winning.
They're not good.
Tours back.
They're not good.
They might make the playoffs.
They're going to have. I don't think so, but okay. All right. So I think it's that time.
It's that time.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's do this.
Let's get it.
I want to remind everybody that they are tuned into the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. You can catch us every Wednesday, 9-ish or so. And hit like, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment. It's all good in the hood. Let's get a crack-a-lackin'. Our picks last week, I was hellacious. I went 4-10, which puts me on the year 81-82. One awful week puts me under 500. And you did pretty good. You went 8-6, puts you at 67-96. You're still awful. Still awful. You are still 31 under 500.
It's hard. Heck, look, it's hard.
But hey, wrong. You can't worry about the past.
I can't worry about the past, man. I'm just going to go with now, man.
We got to do what we got to do. All right, let's get it going. Tomorrow, Thursday night, 8:15, Amazon. Pittsburgh Steelers divisional game are favored by 3.5 on the road at the Cleveland Poopy Browns. The total number is 36.5. I'll tell you right now, I picked Pittsburgh. That half ain't fooling me. Pittsburgh. One thing that I'm going to start doing now is I've been playing the number a lot, and it worked up until it didn't work. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to recognize the bad teams first and the good teams. But I'm going to go bad teams, good teams.
Yeah, I'm going with coaching too, man. Coaching plays a huge part of this. So I got Pittsburgh also. I'm going to go for the over.
All right, you got over. We'll differ on that. I can't, Cleveland's coach won Coach of the Year last year.
Yeah, last year.
He just forgot how to coach.
Man, that debacle down there, you don't come off a bye and go down to New Orleans and get smoked like that, man. You don't try to tell me no game plan for Tatum Hill? Are you serious? He killed you. Y'all had no answer. Y'all made no adjustments. Y'all had a whole bye week to plan for this game, and y'all got blown out by the Saints. Are you serious? Nah, bro. They're trash. Their coach is trash right now. He done lost it. I'm sorry, man. You should
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Love means never having to say you're sorry. All right, let's go to the next game. Minnesota at Chicago.
Your boys.
Minnesota is a 3.5-point road favorite. I'm going to tell you right now, until I see the Bears win, I got to pick against them. Minnesota's a good team. I'm picking Minnesota. The over-under is 39.5. I got the under.
I got the under too, and we're in agreement. I got Minnesota. Once again, I'm going back to coaching. It's coaching with me. Eberflus is not a good coach. So Eberflus is not a good coach. So I can't rock out with a joke. To me, that's the difference. Good coaching, bad coaches. Plain and simple. So I'm going Minnesota under.
Okay. 1 o'clock on Fox. We got Detroit at Indianapolis. Detroit is a 7.5-point favorite on the road, and the number is 50.5. I told you my rule about 50.
Yeah.
So I've got the over.
I got the Colts.
I got a better team.
I got the Lions, bro. I got the Lions because you know why? Because last time I did this, I'm gonna tell you why. Because last time I did this was the Bills. I took the Colts because the number was like 4.5, maybe 5.5, I believe, right? And I said, "Oh man, letdown game. Whoa, man, got blown out. Joe Flacco, they got beat by 15 that game. Watch that game. They was covering to the fourth quarter, got away from them. And you're talking about a high explosive offense coming in that you can't stop no way around the border. They're not good against the run. You feel their best is the secondary, but then they throw so many looks at you, it's just ridiculous. Nah, I'm cool. You ain't gonna get me with that one. Lions, bro. And over. I mean, like over.
All right, we're in agreement again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I called
it
out.
It is what it is. Don't be sorry. All right, New England at Miami. Divisional game. Yeah. I don't think it's real hot in Miami anymore. Miami is a 7.5.
Now, this one right here is, I'm like you. It's something about this game that's funny to me, bro. Let me see. They just came off a high power offense, but the defense was playing good. Miami defense is not playing that good.
New England from week 1 at the end.
New England won, right?
New England won.
Yeah, I don't care. I got the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins.
Oh, did they win? Now I'm confused. Maybe they did.
I think the Dolphins won.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, anyway,
I got the Dolphins. One thing about the Dolphins in New England gets beat in Miami. So
they do, but usually they play Miami when it's hot. This is late November now. I don't think it's going to be hot. So because of the hooker, the 7.5, I'm going to say I think Miami wins, but I think New England covers. So I'm going to say New England, and the number is 46. I got the under.
Let me see. I have Miami to the under.
So we both
have Miami to the under. So you got New England?
I got New England. Okay. I think Miami will win, though. Okay. 1 o'clock CBS. Tampa Bay at the New York Giants. Tampa Bay is a 6-point road dog. Change at quarterback. Joey Cutlets.
I got the Bucks to the over.
I got the Bucks too, but and I have the over. I also have the over. All right.
Cutlets. That's what you went with. Okay.
No, I said Tampa Bay.
No, I'm saying them. I said them making the switch. It could. I mean, sometimes you take the coach, you make a switch at quarterback and change the stuff. But I think backups are backups. So
yeah, and you paid for them, so you couldn't have Saquon, and now you're not playing them.
No, I'm cool.
Make it make sense.
Please make it make sense.
1 o'clock CBS. Your Dallas Cowboys travel to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
The Washington Commanders are a 10.5-point home favorite.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of points, bro.
And
it's
Washington
a division
coming off 2 losses.
Yeah, no, it's a division game.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I'm stuck on this game, man. I really am, because we are bad, but we are bad at home. But Cooper Rush is a back. We have no run game, and we're one-dimensional offense. I'm gonna go Washington.
That half did everything for me. I'm gonna go Dallas.
Okay.
And the number is 45.
Under.
I also went under. All right.
It's a rough one, but I'm gonna stick with it.
All right. So 1 o'clock CBS, Kansas City coming off of their first loss of the year, travel to Carolina.
I got the Panthers and over.
Kansas City is an 11-point.
I got the Panthers and over.
So who are you picking?
Panthers and over.
I'm going to take Kansas City, and I also have the over. I don't think Kansas City is going to fall that far. But
I don't think they're going to lose. I just don't think that they're going to cover that. It's going to be one of those funny games. I don't think they're going to cover that 11.
I feel weird supporting Carolina still. All right, 1 o'clock CBS, Tennessee at Houston, divisional game.
Mm-hmm.
Houston is an 8-point home favorite.
I like Houston.
I also like Houston. They got
the under
back. I like that.
I got under.
It's 40.5. I got the over.
You got over?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What do you got?
I got the under.
Under. All right. Under. Here we go. All right. 4:05 CBS game. Divisional. Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. Denver, this was a tough one for me. Yeah, Denver is a road favorite. They are a 6-point favorite on the road. Vegas coming off of a bye.
Don't mean nothing. The bye team's been looking like trash coming off of byes. And I'm going with the hotter team, so I'm going with Broncos.
Yeah, I went with the Raiders. This might be the last time I go with the Raiders all year, especially if they lose. The number is 41.
I got the under.
I got the over. Okay. 4:25. San Francisco 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is a 2-point home favorite. I took San Francisco because that line spoke to me a little bit.
I had San Fran too. And everybody writing them off too. So I got San Fran.
I feel like Green Bay got lucky last week. I consider that a loss for them. So San Francisco 47.5. I got the over.
I got the over too.
Okay.
I think that that was an embarrassing loss for them, San Fran, and I believe that Shanahan will make the adjustments going to Green Bay.
You better. All right, 4:25. Fox coming off of a bye. The Arizona Cardinals.
It's gonna be a good game.
The Seattle Seahawks divisional game.
Yeah.
Arizona is a 1-point favorite on the road.
1-point favorite, man. The line off of John. Arizona, Seattle. I'm going Arizona.
So did I. I went Arizona. And 47.5.
Man, borderline, man. I tend to the over.
I'll go over too.
Not confident over, but I just tend to it.
Not confident over either, but that's a sweet spot right there.
Yeah.
The night game, 8:20 NBC. However I pick this, Philadelphia always screws me. They always screw me.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles on the road. Los Angeles Rams. Philadelphia is a 3-point road favorite.
They got all these, yeah, because Philly, man, that secondary, man. Dang, man, it's going to be hard picking on. I think the Rams is coming in, man. Rams coming in, Saquon. You got so for Saquon, put more pressure on Hurst to make plays. He'll throw the ball. He's going to call the ball over a little bit. I'm trying to think.
Philly's rookie cornerback is playing awesome.
He is.
He's playing awesome.
Yeah, but he got a tough matchup because either which way you got Cooper Cup. That's a tough matchup for anybody in the core. And he's lost their last home game. I was gonna go with a stronger division, so I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
You went Eagles. I also went Eagles, which means they won't cover.
They won't cover.
I went with the over. It's 49.
Yeah, me too. I go with the over.
All right, one to go. Monday night. It's the Harbaugh.
The Harbaugh brothers. I'm going Baltimore. I don't go against Baltimore after a loss, so I go Baltimore.
Baltimore, a road favorite, 3-point road favorite. Over under is 51.
Over. We already know what we do with that.
Yep, 51. I got the over, and I also have the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think they will lose back-to-back.
Neither. So normally, if they have a bad game, they assumably Lamar come out play like MVP the next game.
The game you are looking most forward to is?
The best one I'm looking forward to actually is not too many great games on the slate, but I would probably say the Eagles and Rams game. I'm looking forward to that game. I'm definitely not looking forward to my team playing. San Fran and Green Bay. Actually, that's the best game on the slate is the San Fran Green Bay game. So yeah, that's the game I'm looking forward to.
It's between them and the Harbaugh ball to me.
Yeah, them two.
So
Baltimore and Chargers. Yup, the Monday nighter.
Yeah, those are my two favorite. All right, well that is our show. Did we make it under 2 hours? No, we didn't. Sorry,
over. Sorry, y'all.
What it is. Sometimes it go like that. Want to thank everybody for tuning in and sticking with us for the 2 hours plus show. Want to thank all the listeners, everyone who listened, watched, hit like, and subscribe. Again, my main man, Larry Loper. I'm Gil and Larry, telling everybody to check us out. You can watch us again if you didn't catch us live. Enjoy the games. We will be back next Wednesday around 9-ish or so. Until then, for Larry Loper, no, he's this way. I'm Gil and Larry. I'm that way. Deuces, y'all.
Great show, partner.
Great show.
You already know.
Pow, pow. That's how you throw a punch. Pow, pow.
Pow.